The tennis world is as chaotic as ever, and the drama is only beginning. We've had Serena Williams retire, Novak Djokovic refusing to get vaccinated, Nick's outbursts, Roger's goodbye, and Rafa becoming a new dad. Before 2023 starts, a couple of players have come forward with more news, and we can't wait to share it with you. Let's talk about how Nick Kyrgios and Rafa Nadal stunned tennis fans with the huge announcement. Starting with the announcement, a national tournament will follow the Australian Open 2023 in Brisbane, Perth, and Sydney. Beginning on December 29th of that year, the United Cup, an annual mixed team tournament, will kick off Australia's 2023 season. 3 cities, Brisbane, Perth, and Sydney, will host games. On Thursday, the groups for each country were announced, and the star-studded rosters for all 16 teams were unveiled. On Tuesday, November 22nd, depending on the aggregate standings, 2 more teams will be invited to participate. There are a total of 10 teams, with the best 6 coming from the top-ranked WTA countries, the best 5 from the top-ranked ATP countries, and the best 5 from the combined entry countries. 2 men's singles, 2 women's, and 1 mixed doubles match will make up each international tie. On Thursday, the groups were revealed, and Group D might feature one of the most anticipated matches of the tournament, Rafael Nadal versus Nick Kyrgios. The announcement of a match between the two has left the world quite stunned, and honestly, we too cannot wait to see how it turns out. The reason why we and the rest of the tennis world are so excited is because the Spanish player was supposed to square off against the Australian in the semifinals of Wimbledon earlier this summer, but Rafa pulled out due to an abdominal injury. So we were kind of deprived of what the action between them would look like. Looks like we don't have to worry anymore because if things go smoothly, this is bound to be an exciting match. Moving on, Nick and Rafa ready to square off. The Aussie Nick Kyrgios, Ajla Tomljanovic, Alex de Minaur, Jason Kugler, Madison Inglis, Zoe Hives, and double superstars John Pearce and Samantha Stosur will make up Australia's 8-player team. Worries about Rafael Nadal's health have been put to rest, as he has been added to Spain's roster at number 13, opposite Paula Badosa. Norwegian world number 4 Casper Ruud, Swiss number 1 Belina Bencic, and Stan Wawrinka, and others are also on the roster. The event will be held between December 29, 2022 and January 8, 2023, and we're super amped to see who comes out winning at the end. Nick Kyrgios and Rafael Nadal will face off against one another in Group D, as both Australia and Spain are placed in the same section of the draw. With Maria Sakkari and Stefanos Tsitsipas at the helm, Greece will start the competition as the favorite. But who do you think has the potential to stir up some trouble in the event? Let's talk about the rest of the deets. Petra Kvitova, a 2-time Wimbledon winner from the Czech Republic, and Alexander Zverev, at number 4 in the world for Germany, are among the other famous players in attendance. The tennis community is mainly excited about the lineup of A-list players who will be participating in the tournament. Imagine so many of the big names all there together. It's going to be no short of a slam tournament. The prospect of seeing Nadal in Australia for yet another season has been met with excitement by many. The last 2 participating countries, which would be an ATP and a joint entry, and will be announced on November 21st. If Novak Djokovic's visa issue is resolved, Serbia might enter the tournament, which is something many are looking forward to. We think even the Serb himself would want in on this one, considering how he had to sit so many of these events out because of his ban. Up to 500 Pepperstone ATP ranking points and 500 WTA ranking points will be awarded in the 2023 United Cup, which also has a total prize pool of $15 million US. Not to mention, everyone needs to watch out for Team USA. On the international stage, Team USA has a rich history of success that it hopes to build upon in the first ever United Cup. We have Jessica Pegula, Taylor Fritz, Madison Keys, and Frances Tiafoe. Ranking number 16 in the world, they double along with Dennis Kudla, Alicia Parks, and Hunter Reese, and the roster also has the formidable Desiree Krawczyk. Tiafoe expressed his enthusiasm for the revamped United Cup in an interview with the tournament's official website. Any kind of team competition, he said, is good for the sport. He said, any team event is great for the game. To see players come out for each other and get out of their comfort zone, I think the fans will enjoy it. And then guys and girls playing together is great. I think it will only help their tour and ours. I think everybody wins. There are some high-level girls playing the game, especially Americans right now. Let's talk about whether Novak Djokovic will be allowed to play at the 2023 Australian Open. Just recently, it was reported by local media that Novak Djokovic, a former world number 1 who was deported from Australia in January, would be given a visa to participate in the 2023 Australian Open tennis Grand Slam event. National broadcaster ABC and other media reported that the Australian government agreed to allow the unvaccinated Serb a visa, effectively overturning the 3-year ban imposed on him upon his expulsion from the country. AFP has reached out to the Australian Immigration Department and Tennis Australia for comment. The high-stakes court struggle over Novak Djokovic's visa status on the eve of this year's Australian Open overshadowed the competition. Djokovic is a 9-time winner of the tournament. However, travelers are no longer required to provide confirmation of immunization against COVID virus before entering Australia. As opposed to the Conservative coalition that was in office when Djokovic was banned for 3 years, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's centre-left administration can rescind the suspension. Australian Open director Craig Tiley stated last month that he and Djokovic had just met and the Serb was interested in playing in the tournament's opening major of the year in January. As things stand, he said that they were advocating for dialogue between Novak and the federal government. Then they'll take orders from wherever they come from. I did spend some time with Novak at the Laver Cup. We spoke generally. He said that he'd obviously love to come back to Australia, but he knows it's going to be an ultimate decision for the federal government. He's accepted that position. It's a private matter between them. Moving on, some were against overturning the ban. During her time in office, opposition lawmaker Karen Andrews served as Home Affairs Minister and claimed that Djokovic should not be granted preferential treatment after his deportation. According to an interview she gave to ABC Radio last month, she said that it would be a slap in the face for those people in Australia who did the right thing, got the shot, and did everything that was needed if suddenly Novak Djokovic is allowed back into the country simply because he's a high-ranking tennis player with many millions of dollars. Not to forget all the chaos that came before this decision. In January, Djokovic was expelled from Australia after Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Health Minister Greg Hunt said he lacked a valid medical exemption, via The Guardian. Because of his lack of vaccinations, he was also not allowed to participate in this year's U.S. Open. Although there are certain exceptions, the United States generally does not allow adults who haven't had the shot to enter the country. Djokovic doesn't fit any of the exemptions, thus he doesn't get in. Some have said that getting it is the simplest solution if Djokovic wants to pave his own road to play. The Serb, though, insists he won't change his mind about refusing the shot, even if doing so hurts his tennis career. I don't have any regrets. I mean, I do feel sad that I wasn't able to play at the U.S. Open, but that was a decision that I made, and I knew what the consequences would be, Djokovic said, so I accepted them, and that's it. Finally, Noel had also been looking forward to it. Djokovic expressed interest in returning to Australia this summer in an interview with the Serbian newspaper Sportal last month. He expressed eagerness to see the location. The Serb made it clear that he has moved beyond the events of this year, and that all he wants to do is play tennis. The results speak for themselves. He plays his best tennis in Australia, therefore he is always excited to return. It's even more true this time around. Finally, he received the official answer he had been seeking for so long. When asked about the possibility of his being deported, he said that he was aware of the repercussions of his actions, but that he no longer wanted to discuss the matter. Novak said, "This time, I am waiting for permission again. It is a good thing that they have now opened the borders for unvaccinated foreigners traveling to Australia. I have that ban. I hope it will be lifted. As I said, it is not in my hands. I hope the people in the Australian government will give a positive answer. That is all." That's a wrap for this video. So what did you think of Rafa and Nick's future match? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.